The Cheerful Granny. Once upon a time, among other old women there lived one who was remarkably cheerful despite having very little to contribute to her happiness. She deeply understood that life's journey could be undertaken either with a smile or a frown, and she resolutely chose the former. Her neighbors often sought her out, marveling at her bright disposition as exemplified when she greeted Priscilla, asking, "Hello Priscilla, my dear, how is the morning treating you?" Priscilla would often lament being all over the place trying to manage the house, to which the cheerful old woman would kindly advise, Now dear, don't get so worked up, tell me if I can help you." The old woman was truly seen as the best by those around her. She earned her living by running errands for her neighbors, and in return she would receive a meal or a bowl of soup, or sometimes even 1 penny or 2 pennies. Her life was good, and she never found or saw a single reason to complain. The story then takes an interesting turn as winter began to approach. The old woman realized she needed to gather wood for herself to stay warm. On that particular day she set out into the woods, her steps light with a bounce and a sweet tune on her lips. Suddenly she came upon a ditch, and nestled inside it she saw a big brown pot lying. Her eyes widened with delight as she exclaimed, "Goody, goody, my goodness me." She pondered who could have possibly left such an item in the ditch, looking all around her expecting an owner to materialize, but no one did. Concluding that perhaps it had been cast away, she thought to herself, "Well, one man's trash is another one's treasure," and decided this pot would be perfect to put a flower in. From her window as she picked it up, she discovered to her utter amazement that it was not empty at all, but instead full of gold pieces. Overwhelmed with luck, she cried out, "Here is luck. I feel rich, awful rich, rich, rich." The old woman attempted to lift the pot, but it proved far too heavy for her. After much contemplation she decided there was no better way than to drag it behind her, much like a go-kart. Her mind immediately turned to her neighbors, resolving, "Other neighbors will never know. I will drop them each a piece of gold secretly so that they are happy too." Her dreams expanded rapidly. She envisioned buying a grand house, then simply sitting by the fire with a cup of tea, doing no work at all, like a queen. She mused, "Oh, how lovely it will be to sit by the fire on a chair and have my tea. I have always wanted a chair for myself." She reiterated her newfound wealth, declaring, "Goodness me, I am rich." By this point she had grown a bit tired from dragging such a heavy weight, and decided to stop and rest for a while. She turned to look at her treasure, and to her astonishment it was no longer a pot of gold at all, but rather nothing but a lump of silver. She exclaimed, "What? Oh, how silly of me! All this while I was thinking that it was a pot of gold. I must have been dreaming." Yet her cheerful disposition remained unshaken. She instantly flew the positive thinking, "But this is luck too. Silver is far less trouble, easier to keep, and doesn't attract attention." She adjusted her grand plans, acknowledging that her house might not be as grand, but she could still sit on her chair by the fireplace and have her tea, and so feeling as rich as before she continued her journey, planning what she would do after some more travel. She again became a bit tired and stopped to rest, glancing around to ensure her treasure was safe. This time she saw nothing but a great lump of iron. "What? Oh, silly of me! All this while I was thinking that it was silver. I must have been dreaming," she cried, but once again her remarkable optimism shone through. "But this is luck too," she declared. She reasoned, "I can sell the iron and get money in return, then I wouldn't need to hide anything and be about my business. While a new house might be out of reach, she could still build a little fireplace for herself and buy a chair." She dreamed of sitting by the fireplace and having her tea, proclaiming, "What a life!" And so off she went again, full of dreams about what she would do with her money. Her journey continued until she became tired once more. This time when she looked at her treasure, it was no longer a lump of iron but a big stone. "Goody, goody, my goodness me! I am in luck, the luckiest, I would say. She exclaimed, her joy undiminished. She reasoned that all the gold, silver and money would have given her a headache, but this is just perfect. She had in fact been wanting a stone to stick open her gate, and this discovery solves everything. What luck! She cheered in a hurry to see how the stone would keep her gate open. She trotted off down the hill until she reached her own cottage. As she turned to unfasten her shawl from the stone, she saw to her surprise that the stone had become bigger. Her immediate reaction was, goodness me, this is just perfect. I can sit on this and have my tea. I don't need a chair, this will do just fine. She finally felt she had something tea. Oh, sit on and have my tea. However, before she could even bend down to touch it, the stone suddenly transformed into a big lump of cotton, and then from the cotton 4 white legs emerged, followed by 2 ears and a face. A face that resembled a beast with canine teeth protruding over its lips, red eyes, and arched eyebrows. It was the cotton beast. To the beast's astonishment, the old woman's reaction was not fear but pure delight. My goodness me, aren't you adorable? I have always wanted a pet, she cried. She invited it in, saying her, "What? Come on in, little guy." The cotton beast, utterly bewildered, questioned her, "What kind of a person are you? I have tried to lure you with gold, then with silver, then I changed into a lump of iron, and then a stone, and you were just as happy each time. And now when I show you my dreaded self, you call me adorable?" The old woman simply replied, "Well, of course you are adorable." Unable to comprehend her unwavering cheerfulness, the cotton monster declared, "I can't stay here any longer." And saying so, it turned into a butterfly and flew away. The old woman watched it go, then simply shrugged her shoulders and went back inside her house. Upon entering her house, to her surprise, she saw the lump of stone lying on her floor. As she watched in wonder, the stone then transformed into a beautiful wooden chair. Oh my, this is just perfect. I better make myself some tea, she thought. Then, almost as an afterthought, she remembered, oh goodness me, the lump of iron. I will sell it first thing tomorrow. The old woman was immensely happy. In her happiness she twirled around, and to her surprise she saw the pot of gold, then the silver pot, the iron lump, and the chair all magically appear before her eyes. Overjoyed, she exclaimed, "Oh goody goody me, goodness me." The old woman was ecstatic, as she always was. The story emphasizes that she did not become greedy. Instead, she secretly shared her treasure with her neighbors, and everyone was happy, especially the old woman herself. Analysis of the Cheerful Granny story. The story of the Cheerful Granny is a profound narrative that delves into the themes of unwavering optimism, the power of perspective, resilience in the face of disappointment, and ultimately true contentment and generosity, all drawing directly from the events depicted in the source. The old woman is initially introduced as someone who, despite having very little to make her happy, chose to navigate life's journey with a smile. This fundamental characteristic sets the stage for her remarkable reactions throughout the tale. One of the most striking aspects of the story is the old woman's consistent ability to turn disappointments into opportunities each time her perceived fortune diminishes, from gold to silver, silver to iron, iron to stone, and stone to a frightening beast. Her reaction is not despair but immediate acceptance and reframing. When the pot of gold turns to silver, she doesn't lament the loss of gold but highlights silver's advantages. Silver is far less trouble, easier to keep, and doesn't attract attention. This demonstrates her remarkable flexibility of thought and her refusal to dwell on what is lost, instead focusing on the new manageable reality. Similarly, when the silver becomes iron, she quickly devises a plan to sell it for money, still envisioning a small fireplace and her coveted chair. Her dreams adapt, proving that her happiness isn't tied to the magnitude of the treasure but to the simple pleasures it can afford. Her reaction to the stone is perhaps the most illustrative of her unique perspective. What many would see as utterly worthless after believing it to be gold, silver, or iron, the old woman sees as just perfect because she had been wanting a stone to stick open her gate. This highlights how her needs and desires are grounded in practicality and simplicity, making her receptive to finding value in unexpected places. Even when the stone grows larger and then transforms into a menacing cotton beast, her first reaction is one of adoration and a desi for a pet, completely disarming the creature. This moment underscores her ability to perceive things differently, seeing charm and potential where others would see dread. The cotton beast's bewilderment, asking, "What kind of a person are you?" and noting her consistent happiness regardless of its form emphasizes just how extraordinary her mindset is. The story also subtly explores the concept of true wealth versus material wealth. The cotton beast's attempts to lure her with progressively less valuable forms of treasure suggest a test of her character, yet her happiness remains constant, proving that she is not driven by greed. The climax, where she returns home to find the stone transforming into the chair she always wanted, and then discovering the pot of gold, the silver pot, the iron lump, and the chair all manifested, signifies a reward for her positive spirit. Crucially, the narrative explicitly states that she did not become greedy. Instead, she shared her treasure with her neighbors secretly, ensuring that all were happy, especially the old woman. This act of generosity, stemming from her non-attachment to material possessions, reinforces the idea that true joy comes from within and is amplified by sharing. The ultimate lesson from the Cheerful Granny is that it's not about being content, it's about learning how to turn disappointments into opportunities to see things from another perspective, and you will never ever be sad. This powerful message encapsulates the essence of her character and the enduring wisdom of the story.